Hello my dear ones from Singapore Airlines Business Class on the Airbus A350. This is the regional business class of Singapore Airlines, but it looks much better than many business class products in the world for the very long haul. So it's going to be really interesting.
I'm Chris, and at Travel Sing Fly, everything is about flying and travel with lots of tips and detailed airline and destination reports worldwide. And today we're looking at this important Asian airline once more.
We're gonna go in 7 hours from Southeast Asia to the Arab Peninsula. So let's go together from Singapore to Dubai.
After arriving from Bangkok, we are now walking over the impressive carpet of Singapore's Changi airport to the Singapore Airlines SilverKris lounge. The private room for first-class passengers is also located here, by the way, and they created a really nice entrance for both. The SilverKris lounge is large and really nice with dark blue armchairs, glass and lots of wood. At peak times, however, it can get busy and a bit tight here. The buffet is set up along almost the whole side of the lounge with a live cooking station, cold and warm Asian and international dishes, followed by a large selection of drinks including champagne, currently of Peeper Heidsieck, and gimmicks such as a wine dispensing machine for perfectly chilled wine and an automated beer machine. The shower rooms are chic as expected with their own toilet and walk-in showers, and the toilets are kind of magical. As always, boarding was announced according to cabin classes and status. We were received by a crew that seemed at first enthusiastic, and we entered an elegant-looking regional business cabin in this still brand new Airbus A350. As a special feature, the seats have a small cabinet with a socket and USB ports as well as a mirror. Then there's a hanger for the headphones, and the controls for the seats, which are not always super responsive, are embedded in the console, where you also find the fast remote control for the monitor screen. There's also a coat hook, and then there's a magazine holder. The feet go into a fairly spacious shelf under the seat in front of you, the shoes fit in underneath, and the table comes out from the front and is folded out. 3 reading lights are embedded in the velvety shell of the seat, and there's a pretty cushion and a blanket.
Before we take off, stow your luggage under the seat in front of you or in the overhead compartments.
So my dear ones, I just got served a Singapore Sling as a welcome cocktail. Singapore Airlines Business Class, the new kind of business class, is very interesting because they have 2 different kinds of business classes on this Airbus A350, and that's a long haul business class with very wide seats, and then this regional business class with still very beautiful and quite wide and luxurious seats, especially if you come from Europe or you look at the so-called first class in America on small planes. You're gonna be pretty surprised because this is so much better than many long-haul business class seats, let alone short-haul business class seats, where, for example, in Europe you just cram together like in economy class sometimes, or mostly with a seat in between free. But other than that, it's a very normal business economy class seat with no frills whatsoever, except for a little better meal. Well, I just went on a flight on Shorthaul from Bangkok to Singapore, and that was already quite eye-opening. It was good service. It was this phenomenal seat for a 2 hours flight. But now let's have a look how it's gonna be on 7 hours, because Singapore Airlines uses this kind of seat also on flights of up to 9 hours, for example from Dubai to Adelaide. So let's check out how this is gonna be like on a quite long medium haul flight. Now, I'm very sorry to say something really not so fantastic right away. This is Singapore's thing. That's the signature drink of Singapore Airlines, of course. And I must say, this tastes really not great. It tastes rather chemical. Well, after trying this Singapore Sling here, I have to think a little bit of my Singapore Airlines first class suites report and experience over there, which is so embarrassing because of course Singapore Airlines first class suites is the most amazing product that you can get on an airline worldwide right now. It's the most impressive first class cabin when it comes to the cabin itself. It's just incredible. Check out my report. But when it comes to the catering, it was not so overwhelming for quite some parts of that flight. Of course, when you open a bottle of Dom Perignon, you're gonna have an amazing product, very expensive product. The same comes with caviar. When you open a jar of caviar, it's gonna be great caviar, of course, inside. However, once you put together a dish, once you put together a drink, it's another story, and that's when the abilities of crew and an airline come into play. Here I have a feeling I should maybe stick with the bottled drinks.
The direct competitor on this route is Emirates, and there the drinks are freshly mixed, glass by glass, with high quality ingredients, with and without an onboard bar. But enough with nagging now.
As an appetizer, you get the signature appetizer of Singapore Airlines in business and first class, and that's satay. That's chicken satay, so that's marinated chicken skewers and peanut sauce, cucumber and onion. It's the same in business class as in first class, only that in first class it's a little nicer presented and more nicely presented. You get the sauce on the side, and also the china is by Wedgwood, and here it's from Narumi. Yes, from Narumi. And by the way, also in the Singapore Airlines Kris lounge, the Kris Silver Lounge, you have china from Wedgwood. And with the satay, you get a side of beautiful antibacterial wet wipes.
If you like my flight and travel reports, please give me a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, do it right now with the bell notification. It costs you just one click. I'm really happy, and you're making a big difference for the future of this channel.
Of course I know that satay is finger food, but here it's a little unpractical because the satay sauce tastes great, but it doesn't really stick to the skewer, so everything falls down. And since it's finger food, you don't get a spoon, so you have to be really very talented to eat this, and I'm not talented at all. Still, it tastes just really, really good. After the appetizers, they just took the orders for dinner, and that's a selection of 3 dishes on this flight, and that's a beef dish, a chicken dish, or a seafood dish. So that means there's no standard vegetarian dish that we have to order before the flight. And then there's of course dessert and also another appetizer after what we had before, after the satay. Then there's of course a selection of wines and champagne of Piper Heidsieck, and then there's a selection of cocktails and mocktails. However, I don't want to have another cocktail like this one, I have to say. Then there's all kinds of coffees and teas, and on flights longer than 6 hours, Singapore Airlines also has amenity kits. However, they didn't lie around when we boarded the plane, so I'm gonna ask for them. And just not very long ago, they introduced these little amenity kits, and before that they just had slippers, eye shades and so on that you could ask for. So that's a new introduction, and let's have a look at that too. And here we are at the lavatories of this Airbus A350. You can see it's quite small actually. Thank God there's a mirror, but there's facial mist, eau de toilette and hand lotion of Penhaligon's of London, so that's quite nice. And then you have here a drawer with toothbrush, toothpaste and a shaving kit. And yeah, of course you get some hand soap over here. And yeah, and then you have these orchids here, but they're artificial and they look really, really awkward, almost horrible. Who's getting these ideas to put something ugly as this in a bathroom? I mean, either you put fresh ones or none, or some that really look very beautiful, but this is so ugly. Or am I wrong? I don't know. Maybe I'm totally wrong. The only thing that's a little irritating somehow is that we are now 2.5 hours into the flight, and the crew came only once for the appetizers and for the welcome drink, and that was it. And since then I didn't see much of them yet. I hope this is gonna change soon. On a flight of 7 hours, something should happen after 2.5 hours already. So yeah, let's see. I mean, Singapore Airlines pride themselves many times for being the best airline or one of the best airlines of the world, and then you expect something much more, I think. Well, lying down is actually quite nice here. You really have this feeling of a cocoon, of lying in a cocoon. And the great thing is also here the armrests. You can just bring down the armrests and you have so much more space on the sides or towards the sides. When you just turn around, it's also quite enough space. It's a little bit on the tiny side, but not too tight. And even if you're really tall, you have a lot of space for your legs. You can have really long legs and you won't touch the end of the foot coffin. But actually it's quite nice. So it's a good feeling here, and actually the cover here is really nice. The bed cover is very soft, very nice. I would love to take it with me, but I won't. And after what feels like an eternity, we are getting some dinner.
Let's get you some water. Thank you. Here's a crab meat salad. Would you like a glass of wine? There you go. The drink.
Do you know? Oh, this one, yeah?
We only have this one for this flight. The other one is not available. Usually it's either or.
Okay,
sure.
and this
Thank
one?
You. Let's get that for you. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, that's a lot. As champagne, you get a selection of two. That's NV Jacquard Mosaic Brut. That's still a quite new champagne house. And you get a vintage champagne of Piper Heidsieck, and that's a 2014 Brut vintage of Piper Heidsieck. And it's really got a very nice aromatic smell or bouquet. And a very nice characteristic taste. As white wine, we're having a German Riesling, and that's a Dönhoff 2017 Fine Herb from the Nahe region. So, cheers. And now we're finally moving on to the main dish, and that's an Indonesian dish. That's a kari daging. That's an Indonesian style beef curry with spicy eggplant, sambal, steamed rice and stir-fried vegetables. And in Indonesian, that's kari daging, terung sambal balado, nasi putih, orak-arik sayur. Now that's so nice. Anyway, it's very nice and very tasty with lots of really great flavors. And with such a spicy main dish, you need to have a red wine. And I just chose an Italian red wine, that's a Chianti. And actually that's a 2016 Fattoria Nitardi Chianti Classico Riserva. And yeah, That was a good choice. The bouquet is already quite nice. It's fruity but also strong, and so is the taste. And now another self-sacrifice for you and the channel. I ordered another dish, and that's the chicken dish. So let's try first of all the sides. That's a polenta. Actually, that's a herb polenta, and that tastes quite nice. It's herbs and polenta. It's a little strange texture though. And the chicken is rather normal chicken, nothing special. And vegetables taste like vegetables. Nothing special, but I tried it. And finally we are moving to dessert, and that's cheese and that's dessert. I mean a cake. And to be honest, the cheese platter already looks much better than what I had on first class in the first class suites here on Singapore Airlines from Frankfurt to New York. It still looks not amazing, but it's better. And then we're having a banana cake, a caramelized banana cake with vanilla sauce. And then there's a port wine, and that's a Kopke 10 years Tawny Port. Well, if you're interested, this 10-year-old Tawny Port of Kopke is very typical, maybe, of Tawny Port. It's got all the typical aromas that the Tawny should have, but maybe it's a little direct, a little bland, in a way that's just direct into your face. It's not really refined, I would say, but it's a Tawny Port. Before I'm saying what I'm gonna say in a moment, I want to let you know that I'm very aware that I'm so lucky to be able to sit here. I'm so grateful about it, and I know that this is a very special thing, and I'm really privileged to do that. And I mean, there's wars going on, horrible war in Ukraine. There's other wars going on that nobody talks about, and I'm talking about desserts and cheese. I'm very aware about that. But I need to say that Singapore Airlines seems to have not the best catering there. It's quite good. It's probably very good compared to European airlines. It's not so amazing when it comes to the competition. And the direct competition of this flight is Emirates, because they're a competitor from Singapore to Dubai, and they would probably not serve this. But other than that, that's a problem. That's not a problem at all. I know that. Now, I got the amenity kit and also the slippers. Anyway, I have the feeling that I'm the only one who got it, because I'm the only one who asked for it. The others just don't get it if they don't ask. And I also had the feeling that the flight attendant was not absolutely thrilled to have the extra work of bringing me this amenity kit. And I'm actually a very easy passenger. I never ask for priority or any special things. I always say, well, if you have the time, would you or could you or something like that. Anyway, I have it, and this is actually not for me but for you. Become a follower of my Instagram account and then send me a message, and then I will send this here to one of you.
The Singapore Airlines Business Class Amenity Kit. The Singapore Airlines Business Class Amenity Kit is branded by Penhaligons of London, and it's made of green faux leather with a pretty nice lining. Included are Penhaligons products, namely hand lotion, facial mist and lip balm. In addition, there are toothbrushes and shaving kits in the lavatories, as well as sleeping masks on request. All in all, a pretty nice kit, not big but quite chic.
And it's so impressive how different the experience can be on this product on a short haul. I'm so glad that I'm making two reports about this, because the short haul from Bangkok to Singapore was a whole different story than this one. I mean, for the short haul, this was an amazing product, It's a great seat anyway. The seat is the same, but the service is fantastic on a short haul. Really, the food, everything. But you cannot do the same on a 7-hour flight. Then it's just subpar. It's not adequate to what you need on such a long flight or what you actually expect for such a high price on a medium long haul flight or long medium haul flight. Yeah, and I think it's really worth checking out both reports, short haul and medium long haul.
Now before landing, let's hear another opinion. This flight was part of a trip of Asia and Arabia
with one of my best and longest friends, my first voice teacher, who became a very good friend of mine and is also today an artistic advisor or follower of myself.
And I wanted to celebrate this beautiful friendship of more than 3 decades with a trip. We went to Bangkok with Qatar Airways in Q Suite and on the Airbus A380, then to Phuket with my beloved Air Asia low-cost carrier, then now with Singapore Airlines from Bangkok via Singapore to Dubai, then with Oman Air to Muscat, and then in their Apex Suite to Paris. It was a fantastic trip, and of course I made a report for almost every flight.
Now we're sitting on Singapore Airlines on the Airbus A350 in the regional business class, and it was quite interesting. We went from Bangkok to Singapore, that's a 2-hour flight, and now on to Dubai, that's a 7-hour flight. And Singapore Airlines is supposed to be a really great airline too. Now, what is your impression so far?
Yeah, also
from Bangkok to Singapore.
From Bangkok to Singapore, the small trip was also marvelous. Okay, it had no doors, but it was very comfortable. The feeling of the service was very friendly, very personal. The food was good, and basically a very, very nice flight. The only thing I missed actually was the doors.
Yeah, the doors are missing, but still you don't see the neighbors once you have the shell around you. Once you sit upright, you don't see the neighbors, so that's quite something. And on a short flight it was quite amazing. How is it on a long flight like this on 7 hours? What is your feeling here?
Yeah, more ordinary, I find. The seat is comfortable, the space for the feet. Food not bad, but not actually for so to say such a high class flight. Not anything special. Yeah, and the service could have been more, I found, more friendly and more efficient. And also, if I ask for a cola and it never comes, then I think, yeah.
Yeah, sometimes you have to ask twice to get what you like to have. Sometimes, I didn't see the staff so much. They were here for the service, but except for the service times, they didn't really appear in the cabin. That was a little strange. You really have to ring for them. And if you used some other airlines, it's a little strange then. The food was rather regular.
It was regular. It tasted okay, but the way it was served was not interesting. There was no hot cuisine like in the other airways.
Yes.
And just normal.
Yeah. It looked a little boring, to be honest, like in my local restaurant. In the other one, not the nice restaurant, but the other one rather.
Chicken like an Austrian restaurant, but not the best one.
Yeah.
One little detail I forgot. They have one good thing in this airplane. They have on the left side a good big mirror, which one can see, oh, how do I look after so many hours flight?
So that's what's really important for you women out there. This seat has a really good mirror.
Singapore Airlines not only goes from Frankfurt to New York and Singapore, but it's also one of the most popular airlines for flights to one of the most popular travel destinations, Thailand.
And if you feel like having vacation in Thailand, Southeast Asia, or maybe the island of Phuket, you should have a look at my channel as well, because I released a whole series of reports and movies about Phuket and Bangkok on my channel. And Thailand is not just a vacation destination for me, but it's also kind of a second home, because a big part of my family have been living there for 30 years. So check out my channel. There's the biggest beach report on all English and German YouTube. But I think it was not so bad to go there with me, right? Because
I was very lucky to go to Thailand with a Thailand expert who not only knew about beaches, he knew very well about beaches where you can swim even if there were high waves, and special things to see that was not on the list of the tourists, and to get a view on the inside of how people live and what there is to see, what the Thailanders see.
Yes, because I mean, of course, you can see it as a tourist, but then you can also see it as somehow from the inside and just learn about the people, learn about also about places that you might not find right away. Anyway, on my channel you will see a lot about the beaches of Phuket, but also all the sites beyond the beaches, many restaurants and many really nice sites just far away from beaches.
But now let's check out the entertainment system, and the highlight here is the great interactive flight show. But there's also a large selection of entertainment options for very long flights, and not only Hollywood is represented here, but numerous international movies. When it comes to TV series, there's a long list of sitcoms and documentaries, but there's no complete seasons like you would get on Emirates, their direct competitor on this route. What I really liked, however, was that in their huge music library there's also a large selection of classical music, and not only those few well-known highlights. Is Singapore Airlines not a top airline anymore? Well, I will have 2 more flights with them this year, and I want to wait for them, to be fair. But while the seats are great, there's just so many issues that are not 5-star at the moment. The customer service is pretty horrible, with regular waiting times of more than 90 minutes. The catering is subpar to competitors when it comes to ingredients and presentation. The drink selection is not overwhelming either. Also, I found the staff attentiveness could be better, but I want to be fair, and that's why I want to wait for my remaining flights this year. On medium and short haul, I would however not choose business class anymore, as I felt it a waste of money for what I got.
So my dear ones, only a few minutes until landing in Dubai, and for me it's pretty special because I almost always landed here with Emirates, and only twice I had another airline. That was Turkish Airlines and Oman Air. Now this is the third one here, Singapore Airlines. I hope you really enjoyed this report. If yes, please give me a thumbs up. That would be so important and great for me and the channel. Subscribe to the channel, and there's really pretty great reports waiting for you on airlines and destinations worldwide on all continents this year. And also leave me your comments down under the video, and I hope to see you very soon again here at Travel, Sing, Fly.